Radio Rahim with Johnny Nelson. Who knew when we talked about Khan Brook, finally, we both have a little gray peeking through our beards.
Good start.
Yeah.
Good start. You know what? I got to put my hands up. I'm one of those people that said, this ain't never going to happen. I don't believe it. I suppose it's like having a girlfriend that's dumped you and saying, we might get back together again. And you're waiting, you're praying, but she keeps letting you down. This is what I thought about this fight. I thought, I am not going to get excited and giddy about this because it ain't happening. If you just said 10 years ago, who wins? I'd have said Amir Khan, without a doubt. If you'd asked me 5 years ago, who wins? I'd have said Kell Brook, without a doubt. You ask me now, I have absolutely no idea. And Kell trains, I'm at the same gym. You know, I've seen this guy, what he's produced, but I can understand why both fighters can win and lose. I can understand that. There's a couple of things that have probably ticked me off a little bit in regards to this fight eventually being made. One of them is this weight thing. It's a 12-round fight. It's not a title on the line. They both got to make 147. They both boxed at a higher weight before. Remember, Kell and Golovkin both stepped up. Why would you not want to box the best version of the man you're fighting? So the stipulation is, Khan said, look, I want this 147. You know, and
He thinks he's draining Brook.
Yeah, but why would you want to box the worst version of? Because then you're giving Brook an excuse. If he loses, say, well, I struggle to make the weight. You know, Khan's boxed at higher weight. So these guys to box at 154.
I mean, his thinking is take the punching power away. It's got to be that.
I understand that. But this ain't football, soccer as you guys call it, where you kick someone and you roll 15 times on the floor, pretend you're hurt, get the advantage by the referee, then jump up and play on like it's nothing. This is a pride sport. So if I'm getting in there to fight someone, I want to fight the best version of you. So the best version of you comes in and I give you an ass bussing, and then you say, all right then, let's do it.
Well, that's spoken like a man who respects his opponent.
Yes.
I think Kell Brook and Amir Khan have such deep-seated resentment against each other that anything Khan can do to continue showing disrespect or proving that he's the A side is making the fight the way it is. It's 47.
I would come in overweight and pay the fine. So it's that each pound, you've got to pay a lot of money. I don't know how much. I do what I can't say. But if I was Kell, say, you know what? If you want to play them dirty tricks, I'm going to come in at what weight I want, and I'll pay the fine. We're still going to fight. You understand?
Yeah.
And so play because if you're going to cheat, let's all cheat. You know what I mean? And so that's how you got to play it.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a definitive statement there, like regarding 147 as cheating because it's such a big disadvantage.
I'm sorry. All right. What I'm saying is, to get the advantage over your opponent. Both fighters have boxed at 147. Both fighters have boxed higher level than this. There's no title on the line. You understand? There's nothing on the line. So there's no reason why A and B can't fight each other at a higher weight. There's no reason at all. But he's saying, you know, I want it 147. And if you come 1 pound over, you're getting fined. Blah, blah, blah.
Isn't this the kind of antics that makes Brook so deeply hate Amir Khan?
That amongst the fact that Amir Khan is just dismissed him like he don't exist. Now Kell Brook's jumped through every hoop for the last 10 years to get this fight on. It's not happened for one reason or another.
Do you think that's a mistake for Khan in his career, having done this fight the way he's done it?
If I was Khan, I'd have boxed Kell Brook. I don't know. This is one thing I do know for a fact. As in America, Virgil Hunter was training Amir Khan. Virgil Hunter himself said Khan will never fight Brook, and I'll make sure that never happens. And that's Khan's trainer, coach at the time. And I think Virgil Hunter is one of the best coaches in the world. And Virgil Hunter wanted Khan to live the life. Not just turn up for 12 weeks for training camp, 16 weeks of training. He wants you to live the life so it's ingrained in you.
Well, what's it mean for those who may not be as studious? If your trainer says such a thing, what do you take from that?
He sees something in fighter A, fighter B, that beats fighter A. He sees something, say, you don't want to give this boy a chance. You don't need him. Don't do it. So if your coach is saying that, Keith Thurman, we sat down, we was in LA, sat down, he said, at the time, Kell Brook is the best fighter in the world at the time. You know, at that time. What I'm saying is these fighters not the fighters they were 5-10 years ago. What I'm saying is these guys have deteriorated at the same pace. So now they're the same fight. This fight will actually be harder now than it would have been 5-10 years ago.
But you think Khan has a better chance now than he did 5 or 10 years ago?
I think Brook has a better chance now. Because if you watch when Khan lost to Terence Crawford, he lost his speed. And so it was like watching Samson getting his hair shaved off, strength gone. And he was getting popped, he was getting beaten to the jab, he was getting beaten to the counter. So when you saw that, you think, wow. And he looked so vulnerable. Then the inevitable came. When Kell boxed Crawford got him with a wicked shot, did him? But he was holding his own for the first couple of rounds. What I'm saying to you is, it showed me that Amir Khan's strength is his speed. If that speed ain't there, Houston, we have a problem.
Yeah, I would say Amir Khan...
And the vulnerability for Kell is that. You know,
They're never completely healed.
He's never completely healed. But does Amir Khan punch hard enough like Golovkin? He's not hard enough to make that much of a concussive damage. I don't believe so. I think he's busy enough and fast enough. It'd probably cut him more than he would damage the eye socket.
We know that Brook is a come-forward fighter. Sometimes it can be to his detriment, especially in a fight that has this much emotion in it. Is he thinking about the eyes? Is he protecting himself more than otherwise?
As human beings, no matter what. You look at Billy Joe Saunders. When it happened to Billy Joe Saunders, he did something he'd never have thought about doing. No, I would never do that. But when it happens, we're animals. You're going to protect yourself. It's fight or flight. So he's not going in there with that in mind. But if it happens, instinctively, you're going to want to protect it. Now we know it's fragile. So because we know it's fragile, we know there's more chance of that happening.
But I'm saying mentally, I mean, he's going to get hit in the eye. It doesn't mean it's going to shatter his eye socket. But once he tastes that touch to the eye, is he thinking like, I can't go in there like I did?
Depends on how much it hurts. If you're blinking thinking, I can't see nothing, maybe most of the thought, that's a good shot. He might think, something happened. Has it cracked again? You know, that's the difference. It's the mindset.
And to the same degree, Amir Khan's been sparked out. Like he's been slept in the ring. And knowing that can happen against your greatest rival, is that something that changes the fight for him?
Credit to Amir Khan. His cojones are the biggest in boxing. He's got so much battle. The times you've seen him get hit, gone, he's trying to get up. You know, he's got so much guts, so much self-belief, you know, so much fight in him. So don't ever think you're going to hit him to the point where he quits, because he'll keep fighting even if he gets his arms and legs chopped off. That's the kind of fight.
What do you regard his performance against Crawford?
He's been in with big-ass fighters that can hit and hurt. Now, against Crawford, I think the shock was, oh my gosh, for the first time, I'm getting beaten at the jab, I'm getting beaten at the right hand. So panic setting. And remember, Bo Mack, who's now the corner man, the trusted man in Amir's corner, is the one that said, you quit. You didn't want to know. How can you trust that guy in your corner when you're fighting? I know deep down he thinks I'm a quitter. I just think, I don't get that, man. I just don't get it. I'm a guy that I'm a loyal guy. When I'm training with someone, He knows me inside out, my strengths and my weaknesses. I'm not going to jump from trainer to trainer to trainer. And even though Bo Mack had the winning formula in Terence Crawford's an unbelievable fighter to beat Khan. Why would you go to him? Because this man's told you what he thinks of you deep down when the pressure's on.
Well, there's the old adage, if you can't beat him, join him, right?
But when you're in a fight, you've got to trust and believe in the man in your corner when the pressure's on. If he says jump, you don't say where, how high, you just jump. You know what I mean? You've got to trust and believe in that man in the corner. So now, what's going to happen in the fight when the pressure's on? Or does Amir Khan just need a cheerleader?
Maybe he needs that magic back. Like since Danny Garcia, we've never seen the Amir Khan of old. He's been going from style to style, looking for that magic again. And who's got the magic now? It's Crawford.
Don't new tricks. You can't do that, man. So if you're going to be with a trainer, you've got to be with the 3-4 fights down the line for it to take effect. You know, so that don't work for me. So he's basically got himself a cheerleader. You know, this is the fight he's training with him for. Okay, I don't get it. I don't get what you can do for a fighter in one fight, in one training camp. You need to spend time with him.
Looking at the exact kind of thing we're talking about, changing trainers to change styles, moving forward in the years fights possible, the Triple G Canelo conversation is back on the table. Maybe Canelo goes to 75 and fights Bivol, and then that's a 2-fight deal with Triple G. Let's talk about the Triple G of it all. Triple G is trying to be a slicker fighter. He's changed trainers, had some success in that he won, but is he able to apply a different strategy to Canelo that will be successful?
Too little, too late. Canelo is shot up. You know, he's gotten better. And actually, he's against Plant. That was probably his worst performance I've seen, even though it turned Plant over. Canelo is the man. Technically, he's like getting better each fight. The man's up, and as I said, a bad performance against Plant and still won, you know. And I think that style is probably too little too late for Triple G, because Triple G is not that kind of fight. He's not that guy. He's walked you down and punch in your forehead. That's him. You know, to be slick, and he's not fast enough for that. He's strong enough, he's cool enough, he's rugged enough to put you under pressure, and then drops the shot saying he ain't going to turn into an Ali, slipping and popping. You know, if he does, he won't be for long. Too old for that stuff.
The reason this fight came to mind next is because the similarities for me are, one guy feels like he's been denied something he deserves. Triple G believes he won both of the first 2 fights, and Canelo's going on to be a superstar, and now Triple Z is somewhat in the background. Same for Kell Brook, in the sense that he thinks he should have gotten the fight, and that's why he's not a superstar earlier in his career.
Yeah, so the first fight, questionable. Second fight, Canelo was the one that adapted and got even better the second fight. I didn't know what else he could do. The third fight will be a shutout. Now, that's my opinion. With Brook and Khan, Brook's been chasing this forever and a day. Khan knows that he's media savvy, he's smooth on the tongue, he knows what to say and how to say it. Kell comes across like he wears his heart on his sleeve. He can't help himself, you know. So he's got to be able to be in the ring and contain the energy, contain the anger. He's got to think of game plan.
What I'm asking, most fighters, and you've told me this yourself, the game is 80% mental. Yeah. In both of these cases, is not the absolute dedication to beating this one guy and getting what you deserve enough of a mental motivation to do better than you could have physically?
Kell Brook and Amir Khan will never train as hard for anybody else again, apart from for each other, because now they're at a stage where this is that fight. This is that fight where they're not going to cut corners. This is that fight where they're going to take time away and be with their family. This is that fight where everything's on the line. They're going to walk down the street after this fight, and they're going to get... The boxing is different. You've got 1,000 bosses, you know, every day. So every day you're walking down the street, you were rubbish, you were good, you've got to take that criticism. And you can't argue about it. You just say, okay, fair enough. Because if you slap one, you're going to slap more. Boxing's like that. So these guys are going to suffer those consequences after this fight. So that's why they put everything into this fight, because it's going to be unbearable to live with. And everybody will blitz out all the successes they've had in all their career. You know, the Devin Alexander success, the Sean Porter successes. You know, these guys have had amazing successes. But this fight will blitz it out. Because unless you're a boxing fan, you ain't going to remember that. You're going to say, oh, did you see Amir Khan and Kell Brook? Oh, what a fight. Boom, he's rubbish, him. That's how it goes.
I'd say 2022 is shaping up to be the year I call the boxing of a dream deferred. Because secondly, on this journey out here to this side of the pond, I'll hopefully be talking to Tyson Fury and Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte's another who feels he's been denied for years, an opportunity that he deserves. What chance do you give him as what has to be a huge underdog against Tyson Fury?
So Tyson Fury, excuse my French, has proved he's not a shithouse. Tyson Fury has proved he's the best fighter in the world. He's proved that. He's going to come against one of the most feared fighters and prove that. He's not lost. So Tyson Fury, he's a guy like, I've done it, man. You guys have got to prove it to me. You've got to prove it to anybody else. So now Dillian Whyte's in a position where he's got to prove to you, to me, to everybody that he can beat Tyson Fury. So I can't sing and say Dillian Whyte's going to beat Tyson Fury. I believe he's got a chance, but I believe Tyson Fury's the best out there. And until I see differently, I can't say anything else. Tyson Fury's proved it. So you just got to give props where it's deserved.
Well, you know, the matchups make fights, as they say. What could Dillian lean on in the matchup that could help him with his style to beat Tyson?
Past successes in sparring, whatever's happening in sparring. And he knows what he's capable of doing in sparring. He knows what, but sparring and fighting are completely different things. So I hear so many things have happened in sparring, and one man's been down more than another in sparring. That's what I've heard. So that's what he's got to lean on. That's what he's got to believe in. But
well, you've heard that Dillian has bested Tyson in sparring.
Yes. Yeah, so that's what I've heard. I don't know how true it is, but that's what I've heard. And so only Tyson and Dillian know how true that is. And that's what Dillian can lean on. But apart from that, you've got to look at performances publicly. And performances publicly, Tyson Fury has said it and backed his boast up and done everything. Dillian Whyte's lost twice. You know what I mean? So, and Dillian's my boy. I get it. He's my mate, and I get it. But you know what? You're going in there, and you're going in as the underdog, and fairly so. You're going in as the underdog, so you've got to prove to everybody else, you know what? I've got the beating of him. And until then, it'd be stupid of me to say otherwise, because Tyson Fury's proved it.
Does Deontay Wilder fight again?
I actually was surprised he boxed Dylan the third time and the second time. Does he fight again?
No, Deontay Wilder.
Surprised he boxed Fury the third time and the second time. Does he fight again? He's a very wealthy man. He'll have a bit of time off. I actually thought we won't see him again. It's a case of what he wants. Will he go in there and want superstar treatment? Will he want to get paid millions and millions for fighting Joe Bloggs? You know, if he does, he's going to freeze himself out of the game.
He's tweeted about taking ayahuasca, this drug in the desert that people do to have epiphanies.
I've had it.
Does that help him? Is that a terrible idea?
You know what? It's to release the spirits. It's to release your energy. It's to release your anger. It's to release your emotions. So you do it. Some people are very spiritual. Some people are very religious. He's obviously very spiritual. He's thinking, look, I'm in a twirl. I need to change something about me for him to do this. You know. So I get that, but you got to understand why someone would take that. You got to understand where someone's headspace is. And so for Deontay, he obviously feels as though there's something he needs to change about himself.
Why did you take it?
Same again. There's something I need to change, and that was it. It's just this. I'm a spiritual guy.
Yeah.
You don't believe that, but I'm a spiritual.
I believe it.
So to me, it's about how you look at life, what you want out of life, what you want out of yourself. You want your power back. You want to be the person that makes you feel at ease with yourself, at peace with yourself. And that's what Deontay Wilder wants. He wants to be at peace with himself.
Did it work? Did you feel like a changed man after the experience?
Yeah, I did. It did. And that's what I'm saying. This is something you can't take lightly. This is something you've got to understand why you're doing it. You've got to be at an emotional edge where you think, right, you know what, I need to make a difference. I don't want to go to somebody else. I don't want to have to read a book. I need to fix me. I need to be happy within me. And this is what Deontay's done. He wants to be happy within himself to think, right, so if he decides to box on again, or not, that's his call.
The other fight that is happening, that could have happened only once, and then we see the big undisputed heavyweight title that we've all been chasing now, seems like forever. Obviously, Joshua will now face Usyk, no question. Yeah. How do you see Joshua winning the fight? I'm not saying you're predicting that he wins, but were he to win, how would he do it?
He's got to rip up whatever tactics he had in the last fight and throw the kitchen sink at this man. Use his heavyweight height, reach, and weight. And he's got to do all of that and to get the win. He can't go in there and try and match Usyk for what Usyk does. Remember, Usyk won the Olympics before he won the Olympics, and then won that in the Olympics as well. So Joshua's got to go in there with a game plan. He needs that rugged edge that got him there in the first place. Like Dylan White, they've got to pull that rugged edge back. You look at a fight between those two when they fought each other. They were rugged, they were crude, they were dirty and everything. Right. They need that. The only fighter that's got that shows that now, is Tyson Fury. So this is what Anthony Joshua needs. He needs to bring back that ruggedness.
Yeah, but he had met the queen at that point.
He needs to bring back that ruggedness. But the thing is, the difference now is he sees human nature, how people are. You know, all of a sudden when people are slapping you on the back saying you're the greatest, now they're saying you're useless, you're no good, you lost a blah, blah, blah. That hurts. So
it's not his first time though. He just had that experience.
So he learned the first time. Now he's learned the second. Look, he's deleted everybody off his social media. Everybody, because he's thinking, I've had enough this game. You know, my man's swearing on TV. He's like, I'm going rugged again. Momento, por favor.
That's at ayahuasca. The changes that you talk about, he's swearing on TV. We saw him get the tattoos after Ruiz.
Again. He's trying to be that rugged boy, like one of his boys again.
You say again. Yeah. We, as the boxing audience, we've never seen that, Joshua.
Yeah, we've never seen that because he's very PC. When that camera's in front of him, when that camera's off him, anybody that knows him knows he's rugged. You know what I mean? Dylan White, when we did the gloves are off, he was like, you aren't like that. He's getting frustrated, but this is business for Joshua. But now he's thinking, you know what, I've done it right. Now I'm getting the flight, so I ain't doing that.
Most people say, well, do what got you there. You're saying, do the one thing you didn't do to get there, which is be yourself, your actual authentic self.
And that's what he's going to do. Listen, I got to go, brother.
Yeah. I love you. Radio Rahim with Johnny Nelson.